I'm not talking about going for tests, going for all these, not changing your lifestyle, going for all these medical tests and then find out you have the problem. That's not prevention to me. I think that's like an ostrich that keeps his head in the sand, and then when he takes his head out of the sand, he realizes that he's in a sandstorm. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that realize the nature of disease, how disease actually works, and I'm also talking about infectious disease and pathogens. I'm talking about Contagion. Everybody knows that Contagion is, everybody's so afraid of somebody sneezing on them because they're going to catch a cold. Contagion, and then you have people into the health field that think Contagion doesn't work at all, which is that also is kind of, it's kind of ridiculous. And Contagion is half true. So we have to realize that the real answer is the host is a factor. What the real problem is, if you have enough endogenous material in you, in your system, and your system starts to become inefficient, starts to become clogged up, and that really begins in the lower GI and the upper GI tract. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to try to convey how important that is. Your upper GI tract is like a second brain. It is so important, and most people, it's going right over their head. They don't realize that what they put in their mouth, what they're exposed to, and the chemicals that are in our environment, 70,000 chemicals so in our food, over 100,000 in our environment. We're just being bombarded with this. We're being bathed in a chemical environment, and the body in its whole, it's such a heroic biological organism. We're able to deal with it. I mean, we're able to deal with it up until a certain point, and it will deal with it. When it can't deal with it no more, and it starts to break down, it starts to falter, it gets to the point where it can't do its job as a sophisticated biological organism that is self-healing, self-regulating, and that might sound kind of ridiculous, but it's not. That's the way it works. That's the way I live my life. And it took me years to realize where, I was making mistakes with raw food and some of the stuff, and some of the mistakes that were being repeated over and over and over. Finally, I come to realize, wait a minute, I'm not going down that road. I'm going down a different road. And I found out some of the different roads were really the answer. So we have to take a good look at all this and not to accept anything that anybody says as if it was part of natural law. I tell people, listen, be very, ask a lot of questions. Don't accept anything verbatim, and that comes from me too. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, that you should, because I said it, it's an absolute fact. But I also want you to keep in mind that I've devoted my life to this. This has been my life. And I usually don't make statements that I can't back up, with a lot of experience and research. So, what I want to make people aware of here is that there's so much confusion in the field of nutrition because so many people have different interpretations of what's the information that's becoming available. Just like there is a little bit of different interpretations in Otto Warburg's work. I see people that are coming out with different interpretations, and I don't know if that's what Otto Warburg really meant. What we have to take into consideration, normal ranges in blood sugar. Now there's a lot of people think that if you eat any fruit and you're a healthy person, it might influence you getting cancer. Well, that's not what Otto Warburg is saying. It don't work that way. How much of an impact it's having on people that are having cancer, well, all I can say, if I've seen people recovering from cancer that ate fruit, and some of the best recoveries I saw were some of the people eating fruit. If your blood sugar, whether you eat fruit or not, and I'm not encouraging people that have cancer to eat fruit. Leave it out. That's a choice you got to make for yourself. If somebody has a blood sugar of 70, your normal range in blood sugar is 70. The normal range now is, like the laboratories, is 99 or 100. Should be up around 110. And 2 hours after you eat, which is the critical factor, where your blood sugar is after you eat. So if your blood sugar is under 140, 2 hours after you eat, that's normal. But with a person that has cancer because of IGF 1 and 2, which is insulin-like growth factors, which are a big factor in cell division and multiplication, and it has a lot to do with sugar. So, but if you're eating a diet, two people eating different diets, and your blood sugar is 75, it can't make any difference because everything we eat, including protein, is converted to sugar. So if your blood sugar, where it's at, is the important thing. If you're a diabetic, and the latest science is showing that people that are diabetics, and 90% of the diabetics are type 2 diabetes, which is remedial by lifestyle change, shows that these people are more vulnerable to developing, kidney failure, heart disease, and cancer. Most people know about kidney failure and heart disease, but a lot of people don't realize the connection to cancer. And Otto Warburg's work is extremely important for people, for everybody, but more so, and other scientific work is very important for people that have type 2 diabetes. So if you have type 2 diabetes, and your diabetes is not under control, and your blood sugar, fasting blood sugar in the morning is 175, well, and you got cancer and you got diabetes, you better not eat any sugar, period. I don't care where it comes from. But some of the studies were done on diabetics. So, but if you're diabetic and your blood sugar is 75, you're safe.